Traded it all if I gave it all away.
So welcome back. My next guest has been with me now a long time. I have with me Ryan Larson. He is the CEO of First Line Financial. Welcome to the show. I'm losing my voice. I've been talking too much.
Are you starting to crack?
I am starting to crack up.
No, you always hold it together.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Listen, thank you. First of all, I want to, last time you weren't able to come in.
Yeah.
You got stuck on the road. But
Yep, stuck on the road.
I want to talk a little bit about you, what you do, and we want to talk about, some of the retirees and baby boomers today.
Right.
So, first of all, let's talk about you. Even though, they hear you a little bit, they want to hear a little bit more. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Larson. I'm CEO of First Line Financial. Been in the business, almost over a decade now. And started off as a currency trader and went to go to work for some financial advisors. So I worked with actually 3 different firms. And really what that allowed me to do is really to understand the financial world, because it is very dynamic. There's a lot of things changing every day. And especially if you don't keep up with your education, tools change, products change. And if you don't keep yourself up to date, you're going to fall on the wayside.
What I like about you is that you made yourself an apprentice to some of the best.
Yeah, and it really, I always loved that mentor role, because successful people, they've made it, they understand what they need to do to get there. And I just like to really model myself after these very successful financial advisors, because it's proven. They have a proven track record. So allowing myself to go to these different firms and see, how they build their portfolios. How is their client relationship side? How do they interact with the clients? It's really cool to see the different dynamics versus one firm to the other firm. And what I've learned through this whole transition, starting my own firm and working with some very well established, like you said, is it's all about client touches. Really keeping in communication with your client, because usually when clients leave an advisor, it's not based on performance necessarily. It's usually based on, hey, you didn't reach out to me, you didn't tell me how my accounts were doing.
I hate that.
A lot of people do, Carol, and it's just, for us, we are very hands-on. We love our clients. That's kind of, if you could describe us in a nutshell. We love to touch our clients. We like to provide client appreciation events. We have, Valentine's Day parties. We have Christmas Day parties. We definitely just give back, because once again, these clients are entrusting us with their money, their hard-earned money. So we want to show, our appreciation to them, because it's a relationship.
You're also
works both ways.
All about education.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of seminars. You've done a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right now I'm happy to say, for the moment, you got a little break for the moment.
Take
Just
a little breath.
break, because you do a lot of them.
Yes.
But right now, I also want to talk a little bit about your white paper that you've written.
Yeah.
This one I love for people to have, because this is something that I think everyone should have it. I don't care if you have a financial advisor already or not, because it is literally soup to nuts of what you need to know if you're going to retire. And especially if you are, let's say, if you're single out there, okay? Let's say if you're a widower all of a sudden.
Right.
This is great information.
Right.
And that's all it is right now. So I want to open up the lines for everyone to get it. It's his white paper that he wrote. It's retirement and what you need to know, and it's everything you can possibly imagine. It's understandable, but it's extensive. It's got the graphs, but it's understandable, because I've read into it and I know, because otherwise I'd be looking at it going, what the heck? But it's easy to understand. Now, our lines are open here, so everyone can get this at 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. You want to check him out on his website. It's First Line Fin, which is FIN.com. They do free consultations. You got to do that. And the phone number to call them is 480-729-6246. Okay, so the other thing I want to go into is some of this stuff that you had written down here. So let's talk about those baby boomers, because, our listeners, a lot of them are those baby boomers.
Absolutely. They're getting ready to transition into retirement. They're They're asking themselves, what do I got to do? How do I not outlive my money? How do I keep pace with inflation? Those are all things that, we have to address. And, a good financial planner will, obviously incorporate inflation into the portfolio model to make sure we're keeping pace with inflation. I think right now, historically, it's right around 4%. So, cost of living, everything is going up. So we need to factor all that stuff in. But yeah, portfolio, when you're building a portfolio, the one thing that retirees need to understand is you need to really break it up into different, sections or buckets. Different advisors that use bucket models. I like to just use like a house model. And I call my philosophy is like the fiscal house, right? So if we're going to build a house, Carol, where would we start? We would probably start in the foundation, right?
I'd start in the kitchen.
You would start in the kitchen, right? Get all the nice, cabinets and granite. Yeah, no. But we would start with the foundation because we don't want our foundation built on sand.
Right. You got to have a foundation before you got the kitchen.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So we really want to shore up that foundation with guaranteed lifetime income vehicles. Now, guaranteed lifetime income could be Social Security, it could be pensions, it could be annuities. Some people don't like annuities, but sometimes they're misunderstood. And then once we get that foundation built, we want to move on to our walls, right? Because the walls insulate us from any outside noises, elements, wind, rain, sleet, hail, snow, whatever it is, but allows us to live comfortably, right? And then we want to put on a strong roof, okay? And the roof, how I look at the roof, is our risk part of our portfolio. So the higher that we go into, or the different levels of the house, it's risk versus reward. So the lower in the foundation, it's low returns, right? But it's safe. The higher that we go in the foundation or in the structure, the more risky, but the higher returns. So that's what I need. I like to just, break it down very simplistically, saying, okay, if we're going to build this house, how much would you want of your hard-earned money not at risk in the market? Some people want 50%. 100%.
I'm saying it.
So it's all based on the client and what they're hoping to accomplish. And what a good advisor, in my opinion, will ask a potential client before any recommendations, before any products or any paid, any applications that are being signed, 3 very important questions that a client needs to ask you or an advisor needs to understand. What's the purpose of your money? Okay, what are you hoping to accomplish with it? Is it going to be for, a legacy? Are you looking to just spend it all, when you pass away? Secondly, where are you receiving income? Do you have a pension? Do you have Social Security? Are you still working? And then what are your liabilities? Okay, because if a client doesn't understand, if an advisor doesn't understand those 3 very important questions, he should not be recommending anything. It doesn't matter if it's a CD, in my opinion. He has no, right to be
interest.
Exactly. He needs to really understand you and what you want to do with your money.
Now, you call yourself a portfolio designer. I love that about you. Go ahead.
Well, it's just like designing the house, right? The analogy of designing the house. I mean, every portfolio is going to be built differently based on individuals' wants and needs. So, portfolio design is really incorporating different vehicles. If we were going to build a house, we wouldn't just need one hammer, right? We need more tools. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm a portfolio designer. I'm going to use different tools or different vehicles to build your plan. It's all about a plan, knowing where you're going, how to get there.
And if you already have an advisor, having a second opinion is all very, very important as well.
It's very important, Carol. Absolutely. Because, we like to do that stress test, showing you where you're at and if it's the right direction that you're taking.
Now, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. I believe that everybody should have this, especially if you're about ready to retire. Retirement and what you need to know. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check them out. It is firstlinefin.com. They do free consultation. Give them a call at 480-729-6246. Call in here and get this. Everyone should have it. 602-277-5369. So welcome back. We're talking with Ryan Larson. He is the CEO of First Line Financial. And, there's something about you. It's always great to hear a little bit about you because you are a relationship-based business. You are an independent advisor, and I'd like to know what that really means to people out there.
Yeah, an independent just means really I don't have to answer to anyone except for the SEC, right? The Securities and Exchange Commission. Whereas if you work for like a Morgan Stanley or Edward Jones, great companies, reputable companies, but they have a board of directors, right? So when they're, sitting down with a client, some of their recommendations could be bias-based, which means they could provide more incentive to the company, to their shareholders. So really, when I'm saying independent, I could really scour the market, look at different products. So I have proprietary products, proprietary services. I use institutional money managers. And then I have proprietary systems that I could generate anywhere between 10 to 20% more income than most of these large, brokerage firms. And what's the difference between a brokerage firm and a fiduciary? Well, there's a thing called the DOL ruling coming out right now, and it's supposed to be implemented, I think, April 15th. They're trying to postpone it just a little bit, but the DOL is pretty much saying that all investment advice givers now have to become a fiduciary. And what is a fiduciary? It comes from the Latin term for trust. It means I have to do what's in your best interest. I have to put your interest before any brokerage firm, before any board of director members, before any sales managers. So really, it's sitting down and understanding what you want. And if it's not suitable, I could get in very big trouble. So,
well, when you do a consultation with someone, what does it look like? Do you go to them?
Yeah.
Do they come to you? What does it look like?
Yeah, let me take you through that real quick. So what I like to do, obviously, any second opinions is a good opinion, in my opinion. So essentially, when you sit down, we have a 4-meeting process, but we call it a discovery meeting. And I don't even like to use meetings. I call them visits because that's really what we're doing. We're really visiting with each other and just kind of sitting back and saying, who are you, kind of what's your philosophy, and can we work with each other? But during that meeting, I'm just asking open-ended questions. Okay, once again, what are you hoping to accomplish? Have you worked with an advisor? What did you like about him or her? What did you not like? What have you done in the past? And what did you like about it? What did you not like about it? What kind of investment vehicles are you in? Has anyone explained the different types of investment vehicles that are out there? Because Carol, one thing that I have seen in my short, 10 years in this business is a lot of people push certain products because it pays them the best, right? So I'm fee-based, which means, I charge, a percent up front. So you know exactly what you're getting. We're going to be signing paper, and it's right there. So the incentive for me as your advisor is to grow your portfolio, because the more money you make, the more money that I make. So it aligns all of our interests in the same direction, right? We're sitting on both sides of the table. So that's the difference between an independent and a broker. One's a fiduciary looking out for your best interest, and one's a broker selling products.
Now, we have our lines open. You say 10 years, but 10 years you had done even before that.
Yeah.
You had, apprenticed with so many great people.
Yeah.
That
I started off as a currency trader also.
Right.
Even before that. So, I was, trading currencies for 3 years.
Right.
So,
and you love this. This is your life.
Yeah.
Now, we've got our lines open for everyone to get his white paper that he wrote. I believe everyone should have this. It's retirement and what you need to know. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Check him out. It's FirstLineFin.com. You can also call them direct. They do free consultations. The number is 480-729-6246. Call in here, and I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show, too, for it. 602-277-5369. Also, something that you do that's a little different, too, is that you have, because of your knowledge that you've created for yourself and learned, is that you have different avenues and
Yes.
different things that I don't know the word.
Different vehicles.
Vehicles was the word that I was looking for.
Right.
Products that
Yeah.
people don't know about, and
Yeah.
that's what's really neat about you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me kind of share with you some of the vehicles that we could use potentially, right? So a lot of people understand when you place your money into a 401k or a 457 plan, you're going to get stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. They call those the traditional asset classes, right? Well, I like to kind of look in different worlds and work in different worlds of money. So we have 3 worlds of money that pretty much every advisor could work in, okay? However, some people choose to work in one world, all right? So the first world, I call it the banking world, right? So this is where you could get, CDs. I call them certificates of disappointments because they're not paying anything, right? Money markets, fixed annuities, maybe some tax-free municipal bonds. So that's our banking world. Then we have our insurance, or I call it the alternative investment world. This is where we're looking for cash flow to really drive the portfolio, but these are going to be tools like non-traded real estate investment trusts. Okay, most people understand the traded types of REITs, but these are non-correlated. There's no market association. Then we have BDCs, business development companies, other cool products like structured notes, oil and gas, if that's kind of what you're in, or some Reg D products. So anyways, then we have the third world, which is the Wall Street world. This is where you're going to find the stuff that you're used to seeing: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, variable annuities, gold, right? So some advisors, like I said, just work in one world, but a well-diversified portfolio really has all 3 worlds, and a good comprehensive financial plan will tailor in or sprinkle in different products to really get you from where you want to go, or where you're at right now, to where you want to be, because certain vehicles do different things. There's not one good or bad vehicle out there. Every vehicle or product has a pro, a con, and a strings attached. And it's about sitting down, explaining those pros and those cons and those strings attached to the potential client. And then we can both make a determination together, in the best interest of the client.
His number is area code 480-729-6246. You can check him out. It's FirstLineFin.com. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show. Again, I believe very important that everyone has this, whether or not you already have an advisor or not. But there's so many people out there that put their head in their sand on this. This is just information for you to have. There's no obligation for anything. And then it's the retirement and what you need to know. Again, our number here is 602-277-5369. And toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Call in and get this. And if it's not for you, maybe you're listening and your parents might need it or something like that.
Yeah.
Get it for them. What are some of the final words for today?
Yeah, I really urge, all the potential or the listeners to call in and get this white paper, because really there's no sales pitch to it. It's a lot of advisors try to pull the sheets over your eyes, right? This is very transparent. It shows you kind of those different worlds of money, and it talks you through it. So yes, it's a white paper. There's many white papers, but once again, it's just about using certain products or tools to your advantage. I had a gentleman come in yesterday. Okay, he had a great story. He has 3 different properties. He has one in Park City, a couple down here in the valley, and he doesn't really need income. He has rent coming in. He has Social Security, and actually he has a couple different Social Securities, one from another country. So anyways, he didn't need any income. So he's like, Ryan, I have all my money in the markets right now. And I don't have any family or anything, so I just want to grow it. And I said, okay, that's great. However, let's just say the markets are all-time highs right now, and we lose, 50% of it. How are you going to feel? He's like, well, I don't like that very much. So I just brought something to his attention as saying, okay, this is what could happen. I performed a stress test on his portfolio, and then he said, okay, what are some other options? So we just use these different vehicles. We're accomplishing the same thing, but we're just minimizing the downside. And that's what most people are looking for today. They just want principal protection, give me money for life, and don't lose it. Because it's not always about winning, Carol. It's about not losing. Because if you, win a little bit and you're minimizing your losses, over the long term, you're going to be well off.
And it's also having somebody looking after you
Yes.
and making sure that it's what you want and it's
Right.
in your best interest,
Right.
and that's what you're all about. Oh, well, we're going to go ahead and leave the segment now. The phone number to call is area code 480-729-6246. He does free consultations. You can call him direct. You can check him out on his website, which is firstlinefin, FIN.com. And you can keep on calling here. Our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. It's a no obligation. It's a consultation between you and him, and it's free. And everyone should have this. It's the retirement and what you need to know. It's everything from soup to nuts, and it's easy to understand. 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100.